Hello Lana, good to see you. Welcome to MwalimuPLUS live classes. Remember, this is the only platform that gives you the key to unlocking your potential. It's also the platform where you can find broken down information so that that content, that whole information is made so simple just for you to understand. My name is Peter Mubuche. Welcome to grade 5 mathematics. Now previously we were talking about capacity, and I remember we talked about the conversion of milliliters to liters and vice versa. What I mean by vice versa is from milliliters to liters and also from liters to milliliters. We looked at so many things. We looked at how we could convert these milliliters and liters. And at the end of it all, I remember I left you an activity for you to carry out. And the activity looked like this. Wambugu bought a crate of 24 bottles of soda. By the way, how many bottles are usually in the normal crate? I know there is a bigger crate, there's also a small crate. And the small crate happens to carry the bigger bottles, or the larger bottles of 1 liter and more. But the normal ones carry about 24 of them. So I'm talking about the normal crate. So Ombugu bought 24 such bottles, and each bottle contained 300 ml. Now what I mean by ml is milliliters. Then there were two things that I wanted you to find out. No, how many milliliters of soda did Wambugu buy? Something else that I wanted you to find out was how many of those of the soda in liters did Wambugu buy? Those two activities, very important. I gave you two diagrams just to lead you. 1 bottle of soda, 300 ml. Then that's the crate of soda that you are supposed to have in mind before you work it out. Then this is what you are supposed to do. Number 1, you are supposed to find out the relationship that exists between liters and milliliters. Once you find the relationship, then conversion becomes so easy. And remember, 1 liter is equivalent to a whole 1,000 milliliters. So 1 liter equals to 1,000 milliliters. Therefore, half of that 1 full liter is simply half of that 1,000, which is 500 ml. So you see, that is the relationship. Now next, what we are supposed to do is actually to find out through working. Now, we want to find the amount of soda that was in all the 24 bottles. So what we do, we take 1 bottle, which is about 300 milliliters, then we multiply by all the bottles that we have, 24. So 24 by 300, and I want you to work out this very quickly, and as it ticks by, just take it this way. The simplest way to work it out is simply take 24 by 3. Once you have that, then bring in the 2 zeros. So what is your answer? Your answer should look like this. So it is 7,200 ml. Having multiplied now 300 by 24, or simply 24 by 3, and then you bring in the 2 zeros. Now, having done that, remember this was the amount of soda in milliliters. Now the next thing that we are supposed to do is to convert this 7,200 ml into liters. As simple as that. Remember, when you are converting milliliters to liters, what did we say you do? You take the number of milliliters that you have, and then you divide by the amount by 1,000, and that will give you 7.2. What I mean by that is you cancel the 2 zeros that are evident, that you can clearly see in the numerator, and also the 2 zeros in the denominator, and that will leave you with 72 out of 10. Then you divide 72 out of 10 to get 7.2. Very simple. Very, very simple. Now, that brings us to yet another section, slightly higher. Having converted, now let's go higher. Can we be able to add? So, we are going to add capacity or units of capacity. That is addition involving capacity in liters and milliliters. And my intention in this subtopic is that at the end of it all, you'll be able to add units of milliliters and the units of liters. At the same time, I would also want to say to it that you'll be able to arrange your work in terms of liters separate and of course milliliters separate. That is what I want you to learn by the end of this activity. Now let's move on. First of all, for our introduction, we need to know some of the containers that are used in capacity, or some of the containers that we can put some liquid inside, and that explains the whole idea of capacity. Now, we have containers that are 1 liter, or you call them 1 liter containers, 2 liter containers, half liter containers, quarter liter containers, but then the common one is 1 liter container. We also have containers that are supposed to carry some liquids in form of ml, milliliters. We may not talk so much about deciliters because our concern so much here is liters and milliliters, but then you need to know that deciliters is also a measure of capacity. Now let's move on. For conversion purposes, I would want you to have this information, and it's very, very important for you. Now, remember 1 liter equals to 1000 ml. Then half a liter, which is actually half of 1 full liter, is 500 ml. Then quarter, which is which is actually twice, half is twice quarter, is 250 ml. That means that is half of half over half. And remember from your fractions, half over half is a quarter. Now, there is a bigger one, 3/4 liters, which is slightly more than a half. That means those are 3 quarters, 1 quarter, 2, and then 3 quarters. That means we are adding 250 3 times, and that is 750 ml. Those are very important units for you to use for conversion purposes. Now, moving on, to convert, another thing that you need to remember is that to convert liters to milliliters, then multiply the given liters by 1000. Just take the number of liters that you're given, then multiply by 1000. You will be getting milliliters. You'll be converting liters to milliliters. Now, to convert milliliters to liters, then what you need to do is to take the number of milliliters that you're given, and then you divide by 1000. That will have helped you to convert milliliters to liters. Now, we can also actually add capacities in form of fractions, and this usually happens when we have liters. So somebody will give you something like this and tell you 3.5 liters plus 3/8 of a liter and maybe 1/8 of a liter put together, etc., etc. So this is also very important. It's important to note that we don't only add whole numbers, we can also add the units of fractions. Now, Here is a sample question, and this question is meant just to take us back to what we have already covered, then take us forward. We just want to see, have we covered anything in the introduction? So here is a sample question for you and I, and let's go. Add 408 liters. I said 408 liters and not 480. It's 408 liters, 775 milliliters. This should be added to 14 liters, 398 milliliters. Addition is simply putting together. So you take those measurements and then you put them together. But then there should be a rule. You don't just add. I don't know whether you want to add vertically, vertically or horizontally. For those ones who will be adding horizontally, that would mean you'll add 408 to 700 and what? 75. That would be very wrong. Make sure that you add vertically, beginning from your extreme right. So let's see what we are expected to do. First of all, you need to add the units of milliliters. They are on your extreme right. Once you've added that, then you move swiftly or gradually to addition of liters. So let's add the milliliters. The milliliters are 775 plus 398. Just add normally. Start your numbers from the ones. Start your addition from the ones, then move to the tens, then to the hundreds. So if you add that, you'll get a total of 1,173 milliliters. Remember, it is 1,173. It has gone beyond 1 liter. So very quickly convert this into liters and milliliters. What you do is very simple. You just subtract 1,000. That will be 1,000 milliliters, which is equivalent to 1 liter. And whatever is left will be milliliters, and whatever you will have on the other side will be liters. So that divided that way will give you 1 full liter, 173 milliliters. So record 173 milliliters and then move now to the side of liters and you add the liters that you have there. But you have to start with the liter you've carried from the milliliters after the conversion. So you bring it here and it should start the addition. So 1 liter plus 408 liters plus 14. What does that one give you? A total of 423 liters. Once you have that now, you can now record the whole solution. That is 173 on the milliliters and 423 on the liters side. Now, moving on, like I promised, we can also add the capacities in fraction form. And that is exactly what we're going to do in our example question, where I would need your participation to be more than my participation. So let's go. Add 2 1/4 liters plus 3 3/8 of a liter. Then you add 1/2 liter. All these are fractions. And I'm pretty sure that you've covered the addition of fractions. It's only that during that time you did not have that L added to your fraction. That means we did not involve capacity. But the same idea you used in fractions is the same idea we are going to use when we are adding capacity in fractions. So let's move. Here we go. First of all, as you know, we need to identify whole numbers. Can you be able to tell the whole numbers in your fraction? Of course, there is 2 and then there is 3. So these are whole numbers. Separate them from the fractions so that you work out the whole numbers separately, then the fractions separately, then later on you bring their results together. So let's move. whole numbers 2 and 3 put together will give you 5. Then you're left with the fractions, that is 3/8 and of course a quarter and a half. Maybe the arrangement wasn't right, but you start with a quarter that was in the together with the 2 liters. Then you come to an eighth. Of course, 3/8, not an eighth. Then from there you bring yourself to a half and put all that together. Just find the LCM like you normally find, and this will actually bring or give you 8 as the LCM. Then divide every denominator into that number. Of course, if you divided 8 by 4, it will give you 2. Then you record that 2. You multiply by 1 to get 2. Then you take that 8 and then you also record that one. 8 divided by 8 is of course 1. 1 times 1 there will give you 1, and then 8 into that 2 into 8 will give us 4, and then when you add together it will give you 7 out of 8. Now 7 out of 8 is the fraction you have for the number of liters that are supposed to be in fraction form. Then put together with the 5, and that will give you a total of 5 and 7 out of 8 liters. That is the same idea you applied in addition of fractions. Nothing can change here. Now, moving on. I want now to bring this lesson to an end, but then I felt it's important that first of all I give you extended activities which you can carry out when you are at home. And there are 2 activities. Let's go through the first one and see what we are expected to do. So activity 1, collect different capacities in liters and milliliters. What I mean here is you collect containers of different capacities, then measure and pour into one container of standard measure. After getting those containers, then put them, add some liquid, say for example water, into those containers. Water is very cheap. Don't go for soda. Go for water, which is very cheap. You put into those containers of different capacities. Then after that, you record somewhere what each is, and then from there you pour all this into one container, and then you check how much that is in terms of capacity. And then the next question would be, what do you notice? Now, moving on, activity 2 should be you measure 3 200 ml. That is, you need to have a container that actually is 200 ml. Then you have 3 of those. Then after that, you also have 4 500 ml. That is a container that measures 500 milliliters. And then put all the water into one large container. When you do that, then you need to ask yourself, what capacity are you having in, of course, liters? Having done all that, make sure that you have it in liters. Having taken you through all this, I now expect that you can add. You can add liters separately, you can add milliliters separately, and you can tell which one to start with. And now you can compare when you have fractions, what you normally do. Do you do anything different from what you have learned today? The answer is no. And with those very many remarks, I beg to stop there and wish to see you in the next lesson. As for now, it is bye-bye.